Welcome to episode 27 of the Blokebusters podcast. I'm Brian.
And I'm Paul.
And today we will be discussing Gravity. Not the law, per se, more particularly the film Gravity.
Yes, and the Gravitas of it.
Maybe we might get to the law of gravity as well, but, you know.
Right, I'm sure it'll come up in conversation.
But, you know, it was titled that, so.
Yes, it has a little bit to do with the film.
You know, yeah. Neil deGrasse Tyson might beg to differ, but
Well, yeah.
I'll get to that too.
Actually, I think that's one of the only things he didn't mind about the film.
All right, let's. How's this thing doing, Paul?
Well, let's see. Obviously, directed by Alfonso.
Karan.
Yes, Mr. C.
Yes.
The budget of $100 million and a box office worldwide of, as of I think a few days ago, $367,402,000.
No surprise.
Yeah,
there.
given that it came out
Was it
30
weeks?
days ago, something like that, with the exception of, if you actually look at Box Office Mojo, as I did, it was saying everything came out, the first came out, the second came out, across the world, except in Venice, where it came out in August.
Oh, nice.
I looked that up. It was the Venice Film Festival,
Oh,
so
well,
that must have been...
to be fair. Yes.
Yeah. But yes, lucky Venetian bastards. I've killed Brian, everyone.
No, you get me talking about those Venetian bastards. I just get worked up. All their fancy gondolas.
And should I go into the extensive cast list?
Yes, let's get them out of the way so we have a little time to talk about the movie.
Well, actually, you know, first off, of course, I think I forgot to do it last time, and possibly even time before that. Just go onto our website, which is www. Although, of course, you don't need to put that in, which...
You can if it makes you happy.
I know. Everyone over the age of 30 has to still type www.
I do. All right.
And it's blokebusters.webs, which is webs.com.
What Spider-Man shoots.
Oh, yes.
Webs.
And you can find out, well, pretty much everything that you can find out on any other forum that we have. But it's a nice little space we have for ourselves there.
Yes.
There's also the Twitter @Blokebusters and the Gmail, which is blokebusterpodcasts@gmail.com. I'm probably never going to fix that.
You know.
It's our little hook at this point.
That's right.
And then obviously the Facebook page.com.
Like us on Facebook.
Blokebusters, yeah.
Yep. Like our photos, comment on the threads, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, anything you want to do.
Yeah, you know.
Whatever.
Ideas, you know, we're always open to that.
Okay.
So, all right, on with the Gravitas.
On to the cast list here. Well, let's start with the leading lady, I think.
Okay.
We have Sandra Bullock as Dr. Ryan Stone. And then, actually, I would say at this point, she looks a lot like my aunt in this film. It's really odd. Like, my aunt from about 10 years ago, when I went out to France a couple of times to stay with her for a week or so, and yeah, Sandra Bullock in this film looks so much like my aunt back then.
I need to watch it again. I didn't pick up on that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. I didn't expect you to pick up on that.
Okay, yes, that would have been quite odd, actually. All right.
So yes, moving on from the family stories, and we have Mr. George Clooney as Lieutenant Matt Kowalski, or however you want to pronounce that last name. And then, of course, because he just had to be included, I think, as Mission Control Texas, Mr. Ed Harris.
Stinkranks.
Yes, you can't have a space film without this guy anymore.
No,
I think.
I just wonder if he was wearing his vest that his wife made. That's all I know. That's what I was wondering.
Probably. I'd imagine...
Is that what he was wearing?
I'd imagine he came in
Houston?
that day as a little surprise for the people in the booth wearing the outfit.
Wearing the Apollo 13 vest, yeah.
One of the reasons I want to get this on DVD or Blu-ray and look at the extras just to see see what they are.
Hours and hours of them talking to tennis balls. It'll be great.
Alright, so now that we've got all of those cartridges
yes.
and of course there were
some voices of
other people,
of the guy who gets his a hole in his face.
Yeah.
That was pretty horrible.
Yeah.
Oh yes, as always. huge spoilers
Yeah.
abounding.
Yeah.
So shut off if you haven't seen the film yet.
It was only 90 minutes, so there's not much that we can really go into without spoiling at least half of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, just
yeah, because it's maybe 20 minutes before the shit hits the fan.
I think even less than that. I think the opening shot is about like 12 minutes or something like that before the problems really start happening.
Mm-hmm. And it hits the fan.
Yes,
and it hits
does.
it again and again. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get a break in this film, really.
No, not really.
Always something happening. And, of course, by that I don't specifically mean there's action on screen, but there is something happening at all times in this film, even if it's just a fantastic shot that we're looking at.
It is, yeah. And I will eat a little bit of crow here.
Yes.
Eat a little bit of crow and say that 3D served this film well.
Yes, it did.
Fuck off. You know what? I wasn't as thrilled with the 3D as a lot of people were with this film I'm talking about, but there were some shots that I cannot imagine having the same effect in 2 dimensions.
Yeah. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
It just brought another scope to that world, to what that situation and what that life in space must be like. I mean, I would love to see it in an IMAX theater. Like just wrapped around, and every time they showed like the curvature of the Earth, and it's just beautiful. Like I don't have words to even with horrible things happening. Every shot was beautiful.
Well, there's another podcast that I listened to where one of the people in it says, normally I can see that, okay, well, there's a slight blur there, so that's clearly the effect and stuff. And for this one, it's just like, they filmed it in space. This is
normally these heavy green screen films, I can tell it feels green screen. And this felt like they went in space and shot it. Yeah. I mean, there's not many moments where I think, oh, that's fake. Even though everything you're seeing is fake.
Yeah.
But
the suspension of disbelief is real.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And this Alfonso C is the man to do it. I mean, I think it was obviously the right choice.
Yeah.
He's a visual guy. I mean, if Children of Men, if you've seen it, it's just, oh my god, amazing visuals in that film.
Yeah. And long shots as well.
Long shots, yeah.
Kind of a staple.
Yes, long shot. Oh, that long shot in Children of Men, oh my god. But yes, then this one is...
Yeah, I mean, the entire first 12 minutes or so is pretty much I'm sure there are cuts that we don't see and to make it all together perfectly, but it feels as if it's a complete unedited shot until the stuff really starts to hit them. And that's when you start seeing the first cuts of the thing, and just this long take of whirling around, people around, start following the different astronauts sort of randomly. It's almost like this person comes in the shot, let's follow him for a while. And then just the long shots of, even sometimes you didn't see anyone on screen, but you just saw the station, some of the Earth, and it was a fantastic scene setting.
Yeah.
And just fantastic full stop. Like those shots, that is a shot that all films would wish they could open their film with. Like that type of thing.
I mean, it was like, 2001. It's like just those kind of something that's going to stick with me. Those opening shots of 2001: A Space Odyssey. Which I don't have a love affair with as much as a lot of people do. I think it hit me a little late. But
definitely hit me much later than it should have.
But it's a long film, and you really got to be invested. And there are a lot of quiet moments in that movie, but it is an amazing film. But I was thinking of that in those long shots. I'm like, it was just celebrating that world.
Yeah,
it's, really immersing you in that environment.
I know. I was thinking along the lines of when Avatar came out. I went to see it in 3D when that came out, and with the 3D, it just helped give that extra depth to the fantastic scenes you were seeing. And, sometimes you could tell definite CG mixing stuff, but for the most part, it was fairly solid. Obviously, they built so much technology around it to make it that way. And then watching this film, I kind of harken back to that. It's like, wow, this is another real raising the bar type thing. Of this is the sort of stuff that you wish that a lot of films would take the time and effort to kind of polish off like this.
Yeah.
Obviously, most of the budget in this was able to go towards that since there's not much else.
No, I mean, otherwise it was a play. It was a 2-character play.
Yeah.
And, it's...
Almost,
without the dimension of space, this could be a play. Just 2 characters on stage having conversations, and
almost a Waiting for Godot type.
It's
behind it.
Yeah, it's a Kevin Smith film in space. Lots of dialogue. And,
which fair enough, in space there's not much else
to do. Especially once you're just don't have a ship to go to. Pardon me, listeners. I'm going to crack a beverage. So
if you
hear something, oh no. For years and years, I'm sure this joke has been made on many podcasts covering this film.
Here we go.
No. I've been dreaming of Sandra Bullock being sent off into space. But I never know I would enjoy her being in space as much. I guess I saw the trailer for this maybe 3 months ago, 2-3 months. I don't know. It crept up on me. It wasn't something I've been, like a lot of movies, I'm waiting a year or so for them to come out. This kind of snuck up on me, and I'm like, Sandra Bullock? Who fucked up in the casting department there? Like, this wasn't Allison Jones' casting, was it? I don't know. Was she the casting? I don't know. Do you have casting on there?
I do not have the person who casted. However, I do have the original 2 actors that were down for the roles.
Save that.
Yeah.
But
you'll be interested to hear.
But I'm like, no, she's not going to pull off astronaut. She's shitty rom-com lady, which... True story, I have met her, and she's a very nice person. And I like her, and I think she does good... She can do good things, but she is, admittedly, I think most people say, been in a lot of shitty movies.
I guess.
Yeah, it's the same, while you were sleeping, Hope Floats, which... could have been the title of this film, but it was taken by an already shitty movie, and they wanted this movie to be good. But I will say, long story short, I was pleased with her performance. The dimension of her being like essentially a newbie, a scientist, not specifically a lifelong astronaut. Like Clooney's character.
Well, with the conversations that they're having, it's very clear that she's almost sped through the process to get up there because she is the best person for the job.
Yeah.
But obviously she wasn't trained to be an astronaut, so they needed to get her up to speed and out there. And it's very clearly her first mission. I don't know if they ever specify with her saying, this is my first mission, but they have George Clooney's character saying, like, I know it's your first time up here, like, how are you liking this and that? And so, and that's actually something that I saw. Like, they didn't do a lot of hitting you over the head with details in this. It was very much like...
No, there wasn't like those really exposition-y scenes where like, I know they got to give us this information in this really spoon-fed way. Yeah. There wasn't a lot of that.
Well, I'll say even the one scene where they decided to give the backstory, it was done in such a way that they're clearly talking to kind of keep sane in this point.
You see, I'm glad you brought that up because I listened to a couple other podcasts that mentioned this. Comedy Film Nerds talked about they had a spoiler cast with this, but one of them brought up like, it's not like the one gentleman's side was this was not realistic. Like, is this the first time they're meeting is up in space because Clooney's asking her like, where are you from, what's your backstory and stuff, and the other guy's take and mine was that he already knew this, but he's trying to keep her breathing down and trying to like shock victims, you ask them what's your name. What do you like to eat? Very boring, banal, run-of-the-mill questions, So just to try to keep him calm. And that was my take from that. Not like, he's never met her before and never like, you're from Texas or wherever. You had a daughter. Like, he knows all that information. He's a captain, he's a team leader. Of course he's going to know the people that are up there with him.
Although, of course, I like that he's going for you got to keep your breath down, you got to slow and everything. And so one of the things that he tried to get her to talk about is the fact that her kid died.
Yeah.
I understand that that's a plot point that they wanted to get across.
Well, it's an essential plot point.
Yeah. If you had to keep someo's breathing rate down and try not to get them excited or anything...
bring up the dead kid.
Yeah, bring up the dead kid. Let's get that. Really, you could have chosen something else like where you're going on holiday. I don't know.
Oh, boy. I'm just thinking of a line in Wedding Singer. Most people probably think, I'm not even going to say it because you probably know what I'm... Just let you fill it in. But
there we go.
It's like, maybe, maybe we want to talk about that. Why would we want to do that? I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, so, liked Bullock. Clooney is Clooney.
Yeah.
He's being, his charming Clooney self.
Yeah, I thought doing really well for just being a voice for most of it.
Yeah.
I mean, you get a lot of people who I think their acting also goes with the physicality, and also they need a lot of the facial stuff to really bring out their stuff. But he is able to keep this all down with just his voice for, I'd say, about 95% of the time he's on screen, because you just see out of his suit or the back.
Well, with 95, and then major spoiler, that 95% is about half of the film.
Yeah.
Just the first half of that film.
It's very interesting to see that he is one of those people that can carry over all those things. Like I'm imagining that maybe he'll see a slight pickup in voiceover work or something like that.
Well, the one fact I love, or one of many facts I love about George Clooney is that, I mean, just shows you an insight into his character, is that he is an uncredited turkey in a South Park episode for just to do a gobble gobble like that. He did that. Like, how do you not love the man?
Isn't it? I think the only two celebrities in South Park to do it were George Clooney and Jay Leno.
Yeah.
And Jay Leno.
I forget who they asked, if it was like Seinfeld or somebody, but they weren't in on the joke. Like, why would we want to do that? Like, why,
And I think, annoyingly, because of that, they stopped really asking people to do that. There are so many celebrities right now that would leap at the chance to do that, and they just don't ask them.
Well, it wasn't like it was the George Clooney turkey, it was just a boring old
turkey.
He was
the voice of a turkey. Wasn't it like turkey number 6?
Yeah, or something. He's like, yeah. Like, come on, that's awesome.
Yeah. But there aren't that many celebrities that are so into that sort of stuff. And I actually found, I'm not sure if have you seen the film The Men Who Stare at Goats?
I fell asleep about halfway through.
Okay, fair enough.
I was staring at The Men Who Stare at Goats, and I fell asleep.
I can see that happening. Yeah. But can you?
Apparently, it's more fun to stare at goats than to stare at the men that are staring at the goats.
Okay, can you see a kind of similarity between his character in that?
I do not recall one iota of that film.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry. He was slightly mad.
I think I might have either been very tired, slightly drunk, maybe both. I don't know. Whatever. Or it was just it wasn't in line with the moon phase. Whatever. Just the worlds weren't aligning, for it to be an enjoyable viewing experience, but I don't know. Yeah.
All right, I would recommend it again, like maybe now that we've gone into some of these films, but it's very much kind of slightly out there style of humor. It's weird to me now that my brain's making these parallels, but the same style of humor as in the film Fantastic Mr. Fox. Like that, when that film came out and I watched it, my wife watched it. My wife didn't quite get into it, but very dry British humor.
What the cuss are you talking about?
But all that, the thing that clinched me with that film was in the trailer, where it's like, and what's your job? I'm digging. What's your and then he goes to the badger. What's your job? Demolitions expert. Right. What? Since when? But yes, anyway, back to Gravitas.
The men who talk about other movies and stare at goats.
Well,
that is our job.
Alright.
Anyway, Clooney. Okay.
Yeah,
Clooney covered.
Yeah,
yes, go ahead.
I was going to say, of course, Ed Harris. I know we covered him. Yeah. But yeah, what is it with him and just space films? Like he seems to be in most of these now.
Hey, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, good actor. Nothing against the actor. Just an interesting. I'd love to see him as a lead cameo in almost any space film from here on in, just as kind of a running joke. I think that's.
Oh yeah, but I wanted to get to, not that this is my focus, but I did want to address some of the goofs, if you will.
Okay.
With the physics that actually, what like my it's shows you how dorky I am. My favorite physicist, Neil deGrasse Tyson, to have a favorite.
Yes.
That means I know more than one.
Yes. I'll say my favorite scientist is the Dr. Brian Cox. Just
okay. I also love Alex Filippenko, but there you go. He's professor at UC Berkeley, and But Neil deGrasse Tyson, head of the Hayden Planetarium, I believe.
Sounds right.
Something whatever. He's the guy that's blamed for debunking Pluto or taking Pluto off of the ninth planet, but it wasn't really, whatever.
I would say even if he had blamed for it, as you say, I'm doing air quotes right there.
It's a planet. Yes, it's
a fact. If you actually go by any judgment criteria that we have for
in
a
the
planet,
Kuiper Belt. Yeah,
it doesn't hit any of them.
But whatever. All these Pluto fans. But anyway, I'm sure most of you that are listening to fan, he's had this thread on Twitter. Do need to say, apparently he does love the film. I didn't want to put that out there.
Yes,
he has said he loves the film, but he's apparently has a lot of downtime at the planetarium. He can bitch about all the things that are wrong in Gravity, which to him I would say it is a movie, which it's not Apollo 13, which that is a historical event.
Yes.
And I know Ron Howard and Tom Hanks felt very obligated to keep that as accurate as possible.
Yes,
because
within that meeting,
to honor the lives of those people that lived that experience.
Yeah.
This is fiction as of right now.
Yes.
And
hopefully.
It is meant to have tension and stress, and sometimes you gotta fudge the rules to create that.
Yeah, just a little.
And the main point I was going with that is Clooney's exit in the film, which is a scene I loved. I mean, for him, the team leader to make that choice.
Yeah, he knows that the choice has to be made.
Well, see, that is the thing, because in Zero Gravity, one tug the other way would have brought him all the way back.
Yes.
It would have kept his inertia or his momentum going back to her.
Well, yes,
but it's not like it's straining in real world. Straining on those ropes or whatever tied around her leg, and they're slipping. All you do is one little tug, and he's back there. But yes, you got to get rid of Clooney somehow, I guess.
Yeah, But the ending wouldn't quite have worked as well.
Well, get to that a little bit, but I do love that. As he's floating away, and she obviously doesn't want him to go because she'll be alone, and he's the experienced guy. And, he's just like, oh, it's so beautiful up here, or I'm gonna break what's his name's record, and he's still trying to keep her calm, still trying to just talk to her as he is going to his grave, essentially.
Yeah, well, as a lot of people say, as any great leader would do, he makes the ultimate sacrifice to make sure that, or he's at least gives the best chance.
Yes, like you have to, he makes her say it. She's going to get out of this, or whatever the line is. Like, I'm going to live, or I'm going to make it home, or it's like he tells you, you're going to have one hell of a story to tell tomorrow.
Yeah,
just see if that happens. But did you want to go to that scene where she's in the capsule?
Sure. Yeah.
Trying to figure it out, and lo and behold,
who turns up in the porthole?
Knock, knock, knock. Would you let me in? It's really cold out here. Yeah. It's actually freezing. But obviously you're one of the figure it out guys. Can't just watch a movie, but you got to be solving it. But obviously, I'm assuming you knew it was bullshit from the get go.
Well, yeah, and the thing is,
even if you wanted it to be true, maybe for a while,
I wasn't even sitting there, and my brain sort of doing the background thing of clicking. It was the second he turned up. It was like, no.
See, that's why. But there was a part of you like that hoped it happened. Like, oh, she's not alone anymore. He's gonna be able to help her through this. But then, of course, for me, really, when he opens the door and she just covers her face, and then and then she's fine. For a second, I thought he could really be there. And then he was so out of it, he didn't realize he was killing her by opening the door, and then he was going to take her hands off her face, and she'd just be all blood vessels popped. And
so you were thinking real shift of narrative, going from her surviving to now he's got to survive.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, that would have been a crazy left hook, but
Well, the two things that when I was watching that, I was thinking, number one, I somehow know that you do need to be exposed to the vacuum of space for I think about 20 seconds before you will die. Like you can be out there and survive. Like, it might be painful and everything, and the amount of time he took to get in, she would have survived. It's just like, definitely not been well.
Would not have been good for to help out in any way. But
and then the other thing being that obviously he went off, and the idea would be that he kind of went round. The guy, he says, I found a little bit of extra juice and everything, got back. And the second he said that, I was like, okay, from where?
It's important, though, because even though it's her, whether you want to say dream or hallucination, whatever word you want to use, he does, through her subconscious, deliver important information. That being, these are all the same ships. Space technology isn't a wide, varied thing. It's just they changed the labels out, essentially, for Chinese, for Russian, for, whatever. It's just, same ships. It's not like we're each designing a different way to get into space. So, he does divulge that information, like, this. You know how to get home. I forget what the exact information is. But, about the fuel. Like, don't have any fuel. Well, launching is the same as landing, and that's the big epiphany, she has from that. Like, okay, now I know how to make this work. If I can figure out how to make this work. I know the theory. Now I need to put it into practice.
Possibly works. I can get it to work.
Yeah. And then, of course, she gets caught in the road. It's like nothing goes right for that woman.
This is the most determined human in the world.
Well, that's what I love.
Or over the world, I suppose.
I mean, that's the important thing about that piece of information about her having that daughter, that just a freak accident, died on a playground or whatever it was, just one of those freak things. And then once she makes that decision that she's going to live, that she's not going to just be going through the motions, essentially, just driving, that she's going to have purpose in her life, essentially, that nothing is going to stop her. And that was awesome. Like, I am so happy she was able to pull that off, and I believed every second of it. Yeah, but that being said, goddamn, could that woman get a break?
I understand that, and for those of you that for some reason have listened this far but still haven't seen the film, there was a chain reaction from the Russians destroying one of their old satellites that basically destroyed all satellites.
Yes, I would like to talk to an expert and see how likely that scenario is.
I mean, obviously they say they've just done this, so don't worry about it. And then 5 minutes later, you need to worry about this.
Yeah, a chain reaction.
Massive chain reaction. And I don't know.
And then every 90 minutes, you just have speeding lethal bullets, some the size of trucks flying at you.
Yeah, almost. The joke of, I think it was 2012. I think the massive joke from that is that the entire film is, I'm glad I wasn't there 6 seconds ago. It really is. Everywhere she gets, either there's a problem that she then has to deal with, or she gets there and then, here comes the debris again.
Yeah. Well, you think, okay, all she has to do is get back into the space station and take the one lifeboat that's left, or be able to. I think the parachute was deployed already or something, but
the first one, they
had taken, the people at ISS had
taken, and then the other one, the parachute had been deployed. Yeah. So she had to get rid of that and then get to the other one. Then when she got to the other one, there was a fire that she ended up having to deal with.
Yeah,
and then
obviously all the crew's dead, and
so it was one of those ones of. This film is almost designed to make one person suffer.
Yeah.
And then everything happened to
her. And then
person.
Just the moment where she actually raises someone on the radio, and it's a Chinese voice, and she thinks she has contacted the Chinese space station. And it's talking, and then the realization that this is just someone at their house that stumbled on this frequency.
Yeah.
And just the humor in that for her. Like this is the way my life is ending.
Yeah.
And
of course, I looked it up because I didn't know, I couldn't hear what the language was. I had no idea. So I looked it up, and it's
Cantonese or Mandarin. No,
it's not even that section of the globe. It's from Greenland.
Oh, really?
It's that section. Yeah. So she found someone up on the fairly northern,
just like on a ham radio or something. Yeah,
on a ham radio. I would assume fairly snowy. So they're inside. Mm-hmm. They've got their kid.
Yeah, and I just love I don't know. One of the podcasts I listen to talks about the cosmic joke. And that being said, people that are in on the cosmic joke know how ridiculous this whole thing is. This consciousness, this world, just like finding humor in anything, or just like that we're even here. That's the cosmic joke, and the cosmic joke of him talking to her talking to him, neither one knowing what the hell's going on. Yeah, but him not knowing he's talking to an astronaut that's going to die. And her listening to him sing his son to sleep. Yeah, in
a language she had no idea what the song is. She doesn't. She can't get any of the words.
Yeah, it's I think probably my favorite scene. Other than the end shot, I think I loved the end shot a lot. But that just and then when she just starts to lose it and howl, and so and she says, "I know." We're all going to die, but I know I'm going to die today. Yeah. It's like, and I am scared.
Very sobering.
Yeah, it was. Oh my god, powerful. But I'm getting a little choked up thinking about it. But and then.
So that would be one of the things that I guess would be really shocked you about the fact that Sandra Bullock, the person as being part of all these rom-com,
rom-com drivel,
bringing out something like this in that scene.
Well, I mean, I didn't see The Blind Side, which to me it just looked like pandering Oscar fare, which is kind of what it turned out to be. I mean, she wanted to, but I'm sure she was great in it. That's what I hear. I don't know, but I've seen that sports story 100 times.
Right?
Down and out, whatever, and achieve greatness through someone taking care of them, or showing them, love, or, blah, blah, blah. So I didn't feel like I needed to see that film. I've seen it 100 different times in 100 different ways. But this was the first time I was like, holy shit, she brought it. She's actually got some real chops. And,
Well, would you like to hear who the original actress that was in line to play that role was?
Do you think you'd be able to give me four, a multiple choice of 4? Do you think you could come up with 3 others? Real quick here.
Right off the top of my head, probably not. But if you give me some time, how about the main actor then? While I'm
the main actor, tell me the main. Okay.
All right. So the original choice for the male, rather than
Please
George
don't
Clooney,
tell me Tom Cruise.
No, Robert Downey Jr. He was originally signed on. He was actually signed on at the same time Sandra Bullock was signed on, but he had to bow out because of one thing or another.
Sequel or something. Yeah. Iron Man or. I mean, can do anything right now, so I'm sure it would still have worked with Robert Downey. I think he can do no wrong at this point, so I don't know.
Oh, all right. Yeah, because when I heard that, I thought, I can see it. Yeah. I can see him doing it, but then I also thought, no one will watch that film and not think it's Iron Man.
True, in a suit. Robert Downey Jr. in a suit, yeah.
At this point, I don't
with
think
a jetpack. I mean, did he downgrade from the Mark 6? What the hell? It's the Rocketeer. Do you need me to stall, sir? Are you going to come up with some?
I think I've got some. All right.
Okay.
So, going in no particular order.
Of course.
So we got 4 here. We have Natalie Portman.
Okay.
Angelina Jolie.
Okay.
Emma Stone.
Okay.
And Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett.
Angelina Jolie.
No shit.
Yeah, she was originally signed on as that.
Wow.
And I was in real trouble there scrolling along. I was like, I've lost it.
I like Angelina Jolie for a few different reasons. But I don't know if that would have. I think they made the right choice, actually.
Well, that's the thing. She bowed out so that she could direct her own film.
See, Sandra Bullock's an attractive woman, but I think Angelina Jolie was maybe too attractive. If that makes any sense, I think she's viewed as that,
right?
And it would be model in space,
Right,
airing on a B movie,
You think at this point she wouldn't be able to play the newbie in a space?
I don't think. I think early in her career, yeah. I don't think once she's done all of these films, because that's why in a lot of these unique movies, a lot of directors, a lot of people want unknowns, so you don't associate them with their previous roles.
Right.
But unless you have a really strong talent, which apparently Sandra Bullock is in it, but not that Angelina Jolie isn't. But I mean, come on, you're going to be thinking Tomb Raider. You're going to, all this stuff.
That was the other thing I was thinking of. Like, the original pairing was Angelina Jolie and Robert Downey Jr. I can't see this film with those two together.
I mean, no.
Nothing against those two as actors and performers and stuff, but seeing this film, seeing Sandra Bullock giving this performance, that is their role now. And
I mean, I love candy and I love chicken, but I don't want candy stuffed chicken, just because I like two things doesn't mean they're good together. That's my point,
So I think
it worked out. I think the stars were aligned, so to speak.
But
sorry. Just visit me for all your bad puns.
Well, you are the one that comes out with half of the titles for this.
I got a couple, for this one already. But someone asked what I thought of it, and I said it really pulled me in. And that was pretty much the reaction I got. Just a deep sigh.
I mean, fair enough. Not only is that a pun, that is a very good play on.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Was it good? It really pulled me in. That's all I have to say about it.
I might have to steal that next time someone asks me.
Yes, but I guess I just wanted to discuss the ending a little bit.
Yeah, sure. I was going to say the only other thing that I had written down. Hang on.
Oh
no, the TARDIS is here. That should not have happened first. Alright, well, the only other thing I had written down that I wanted to talk about, we're still on the in space.
Yes.
Was the fact that I looked up how they did the film and the effects and the weightlessness and stuff. And when they're outside and in the vacuum of space, it's, green screen. Yes. I'm sure maybe some wires from time to time just doing that. And when they were inside, given that she's the only one that is ever actually inside in weightlessness situation, not strapped in, when she's inside, they use robots to move her.
Oh, really?
So that is the other reason I wanted.
So the environment isn't moving; she is moving.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So it gives the illusion that.
Yeah.
I'm so happy you brought that up. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Apparently, all of these shots had to be planned months in advance to get all of these robots synced out.
I would love to see the storyboards.
Exactly. I want those extras on the DVD. I want to see the back of her being manipulated by these robots.
Yeah. So, what you sparked in me, I wanted to mention was that I've seen, I love space and I love film, as I've discussed in the Apollo 13 podcast, or the Hanks for Listening podcast, I think.
Right.
Whatever it was called. But it seems like a lot of times weightlessness is depicted in a stagnant way. I mean, you just have them moving through an environment. Everything is always moving.
Yeah.
There's the windows is changing. There's always something going on. Yeah, it's always dynamic. It's not just her moving through. I mean, she's spinning or it's spinning. The capsule or whatever.
There's enough, at least in most other films.
The view's changing out the window. Yeah.
In most other films, there's so much stuff where it's done where you either see them from the waist up. Mm-hmm. So they could always just be on a box waving back and forth in this environment. Or,
Tom Hanks did in Apollo 13, had to bounce around,
Or they move absolutely everything, so there's no chance for you.
I mean, you really, got a sense of how disorientating that must be. Yeah. Like, just a slight sense,
Well, obviously...
Down is up is down. There is no side. There is no... it's just you're in an environment, the rules aren't there.
Well, even going with the opening shot, the opening shots, so just after everything happened, and you see the points of view... both point of view and also slightly side on of the spinning, and you see exactly what you would see if you were in that situation. And first off, I thought it's probably a good thing my wife didn't come with me to see this film because she gets motion sick. So
oh my gosh, could you imagine IMAX 3D?
I know.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what some people's reaction to this film must have been. I'm sure somewhere across the country someone threw up.
Whether it was from too many Twizzlers or just,
just everything.
A combo.
Which I thought really did help to sink me into the reality of the film. Where, you're seeing so much of it from their point of view, or close enough that that you may as well be seeing it from their point of view. And the way that it was all shot, and then, as I said, since they were able to use robots, they got better shots of weightlessness than you get in most other films. Not that other films don't at least try and do it well, but there's only so much you can do without sophisticated equipment, which is clearly what they had for this. I do know that one of the things that Grace Tyson said that really bothered him was that her hair isn't moving the way it would.
I know, like, really?
God, you've got this shot where she is effectively weightless in this shot, and you're bothered that her hair isn't flowing a little bit.
And I think that's one of the decisions that would have been distracting. You're going to take away from either what the scene is about, what the dialogue is, or if I'm looking at her hair waving around. Well, it's not essential.
The one that I thought of that would have been impacted so much was when she first gets in, she crawls out of that suit, and she gets into the fetal position slowly. I like that was a slow move into that. But could you imagine that if, hair like The Grudge or The Ring just flowing across the face and around? That would have completely ruined it, I think.
Yeah, sorry it wasn't accurate, Neil, but it's, it looked better. So I just want to jump to the moment where she is able to disengage the capsule. Yeah. And is making her way through the atmosphere, and I think says at one point, like, either I'm gonna live or I'm gonna die. Yeah. But it's gonna be something, I don't know, one hell of a ride or whatever the line was. Something like that.
Either way, it'll be one hell of a ride.
Yeah. And lo and behold, she makes it to Earth, makes it in the water, and she's alive. Yeah. And movie's over, right? She's gonna be, okay, finally. But then, if you ever see one of these things happen on film or whatever, that's why there's always like a SEAL team out there or whoever ready to retrieve this 400-ton whatever thing that's going to sink like a fucking rock to the bottom of the ocean.
Especially since everything that it should be equipped with isn't necessarily working.
Yeah. So of course she opens the capsule, and holy shit! When you open things in the water comes into that thing. Yeah. What do you know? So
it was also one of those things. When I saw that scene, I thought, she took a second to just kind of like breathe and then unhook herself. If she'd unhooked herself when she landed, she'd have got out. Yeah. But because she took that time to be like, I'm back, and then she ended up again in another one of those situations, and it's like, come on.
And even then, you realize, like, oh my, like, I really thought for a moment, like, I was able to get to this film without it being spoiled for me. I thought she was going to die right there. Right. I thought she was going to drown, and then I'm like, okay, she's getting out of the capsule. She's gonna be okay. What'd we say? Can't catch a break. Starts to swim towards the surface. I'm not making any headway here. What's going on?
Oh wait, I have a suit on.
Oh, I'm wearing a suit that's made for space. So I'm sinking. And then again, I thought, oh, this is, and at that point in my head, I said, fuck this movie. Because I thought, they are going to get my hopes up, blah, blah, blah. Like, I actually wanted her to live at this point. She won me over, and she's going to sink to the ocean and die. Coming that close to being saved. And I really thought, but she was able to get the suit off, Yeah. And I don't know how far down she went, but was able to swim to the top, amazingly.
I was going to say, if you actually watch the film, when she gets to the surface, it's maybe 10 to 15 seconds of kind of swimming before she hits land. So, it was amazing how deep that thing got.
Someone pointed out to me, like, that's, I don't know how true this is, they said that's what they would train them to do in that situation, is to float, because your instincts would be to swim, but you are so exhausted and plus space lowers your bone density, weakens your muscles, and so you're not going to be as strong as you think you are. So, she just floats there. Yeah. And that's I love the end of the film, though, when she's able to
finally
crawl. I will say, for a second there, I thought she was going to pass out on low tide and then drown in high tide. Like, you were like, no, this can't be this easy anymore. No, they're gonna fuck her over again. Whoever wrote this is a sick bastard. And but yeah, she is able to get to her feet and takes those tentative steps, and then you see the camera kind of pull up, off of her feet. Yeah. And she's on this island, or maybe not island, but a very not populated area. Yeah. And you realize that her journey is not over.
Yeah.
She's gone through the worst of it, we hope. Yeah. But she's still got a way to go before she is quote-unquote saved.
I was kind of hoping they would zoom out and you would see that she landed on the one place on Earth that is a lake on an island on a lake on an island.
Oh, you're sick. Yeah.
Like, that would not have surprised me in the slightest if that was where she ended.
But there's a shot on her face, which, she, granted, great acting chops, where you see, like, has the relief of being on solid ground. Yeah. And then there's this look that she realized, okay, gotta toughen up. I got a ways to go yet.
Yeah, it's like, all right.
I got a ways to go. However many miles she's gonna have to walk or trek, until she finds a village or whatever before she's able to get home. But I do believe she gets home.
Yes,
that's my
after all this, she gets home.
God, I hope so. But I just loved that last shot. Yeah. Overall, I don't know, very powerful film for me.
Yes, very much so. Yeah. And I would say, given that everything we just talked about, shall we get to our rating?
Yes, I'd love to.
All right, do you want me to go first?
I don't recall whose turn. I don't care. I know mine, so go right ahead.
All right, well, I am going to go. I was trying to work out in my head how much of this rating should I let my personal feeling for this film be swayed. Yeah. And then I realized, this film is fucking good. Like, there's almost nothing about this film that I could really poke at.
Yeah, the nitpicks were about physics, not about the story.
About physics that would either take away from the actual story in itself, or would just be so difficult to do that I can understand why they might not have done it. So I'm actually going to say that this is about a minus 0.3.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm going back into those points. Yeah, because this film, I think that Lincoln for me is still like
the best in recent years.
Yeah, just the best overall film. But this film is fantastic.
It is. And I'm assuming you've seen this or seen the film if you're listening to this, and if you saw it in 2D, please get to see it in 3D before it's out of theaters.
Yes, do try.
And this is coming from someone that hates 3D. Yeah. So if you can't take that, as a clue.
The person that hates it and the person that likes it are both telling you to see it in 3D.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that tear coming out of the screen, and just all eyes had to be on that tear as it just came right towards you,
And slightly smeared on there.
Oh, yeah.
And then, of course, I thought one of the best uses of it, having it in 3D rather than 2D, would be when she sees the lieutenant coming towards her and he's just a speck. Mm-hmm. And you really get the perspective of him getting bigger and coming towards her. Like in 2D, I don't think that any way you could have fully got that.
Yeah.
That's so much you need that extra.
It's and I think it will be one I buy, but I don't expect it to be as satisfying as an experience at home.
Probably not.
I will get it for the special features and things like that, and watching those films, you do kind of remember the thoughts you had in the theaters. So I think it'll still work. But
it'll be a walk down memory lane.
Exactly, which will be
or a float down, I should say.
Yes. Yeah. I am going to actually echo your rating and go a minus 0.3.
All right.
I think you're dead on with that. And like I said, it was something, like when I first heard about it, I thought this is going to be open water in space.
Right.
Like the just waiting for the sharks to eat them. Whatever, just talking, boring, blah, blah, blah. But, I was pulled in from the beginning, all the way through.
Yeah, this is, unfortunately, I think, one of those films that there will be some people that won't be able to get that out of their head, so they'll never see it just because it's talking in space. How is that going to... And no matter how much you tell them, no, really, they're never going to see it. And I kind of feel sorry for some people.
And I haven't really talked to anyone that didn't enjoy the film. I've talked to people that just kind of liked it, and I don't even understand that. I'm like, how did you not fucking love this thing? But, I don't know. It's near perfect for that genre and for those two actors, and I'm very happy with it.
Yes, very much so. Did you have a Netflix review or
do you, sir? I could probably whip up something here quick.
I actually have a Hulu recommendation.
Oh, a Hulu.
Yes, I recently got Hulu Plus, and I've been going through some of those, and there is a show. This is so clearly English humor. Like, it's very dry, but is really sort of bringing me in, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of it because I love all of the people in it. I mean, one of the people in it is...
What is it, for the love of God?
Okay, fine. It's called Whites.
White.
Yeah. Well,
sounds
Whites
very racist.
With S. The reason it's called Whites is because...
At least it's not called Whites Only.
Yes. It's because it is a television show about the kitchen in a popular restaurant called the White House.
Okay.
And it has people. It has Alan Davis, who most people in England know who Alan Davis is. It has, I believe her name is Kathleen Parkinson, which would be the name of the female actress in the IT Crowd.
Okay.
Which had its sort of final episode air in the UK, so find it online and watch it, because it is a solid sort of farewell to the fans. And it has several other people in it who have been in, you know, more English stuff that I can't really go into right now, because everyone will be... Sorry, what? What's that one? I don't know that one. I don't know that. But yes, very good, very dry humour, and I'm looking forward to watching the rest of it because it is all on Hulu. It's one of those ones, a bit like the Arrested Development, where they put it up and it was all on there.
Gotcha.
So yeah, looking forward to finishing that.
Alright, nothing from me.
Nothing
I'm good.
Alright.
I've just been watching old TV shows, so...
Yeah, that's what I've kind of been doing. I've never watched The X-Files, and I am now starting to watch The X-Files. I'm 7 episodes in.
My jaw is on the floor, folks. We gotta get out of this podcast, but I'm gonna reprimand him, believe me, for all of you. Okay, when we go off air here. Alright, that's gonna do it for me. I've been Brian.
And I've been Paul.
Next time, folks.
Bye.